Hello friends, welcome to chess training. Myself Nikhil Joshi welcomes you to today's class. Today we are going to learn about the concept of an outside passed pawn in king and pawn endgames. In this example, it is white to play. If you carefully observe the board, you will find that both the players are having 4 pawns each. As we can see, the pawns on the king side of the board are blocked. Can you see? If white pushes say 2 steps, black will capture him en passant and then he will go down. Correct? So white pawn cannot move, and of course black will also not push his pawn because white will take him. Now look at the position of the A file pawn and the C file pawn. The A file pawn is little far away from the king side pawns. White here starts with the move king to C2. Now if the black king goes say to C5, we can go forward and take the opposition. If he goes on say to the square B5, we can push the pawn and allow this one to die. Why are we allowing him to go? Because black king will have to go away from his pawns. Now can you see? White king will first go to D5, and from D5 he will walk towards G5 to capture the unsupported pawn. For the black king to attack white pawns, it's a long journey. This is the concept of outside passed pawn. So we come to the starting position. Let's see what happened in the match. King C2, black king goes and attacks it. So white plays king C3, king into A2, king into C4. Now let's count how many steps black needs to capture the white pawn. He will have to go to B2, C2, D2, E2 and F2. So he will need 5 steps to reach to attack the pawn, and white will need only 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. So both the king starts walking. And now white king is the first one to capture him. Black king comes here, white king takes another pawn, and as black king takes our pawn, we play king G4. So the idea is, we have supported our pawn and we have made the way for our pawn to go forward. White pawn starts walking forward. At this point, black realizes that I cannot stop him from making a new queen, and so black resigns the game. Let's now have another example. In this example, it is white to play. If we observe the chessboard, we can see that white has got 5 pawns and black has got 4 pawns. If you look at the king side, it is 3 pawns versus 3 pawns. And on the queen side, white has got 2 against 1. So how to convert this advantage into victory? The idea is, create an outside passed pawn which will be used to attract the enemy king, and then our king can go to the other side of the board. Let's begin the game. White started with the move king F1. As you know, in the king and pawn endgame, the king should be the leader. Black also brings his king, king E2, king D6, and now white plays pawn to B4. So you see what is the idea? We are controlling C5 as well as A5 square, which will not allow the black king and the black pawn to come forward. Black plays king D5. He wants to go to C4 and attack the pawn. So white plays king D3, takes the opposition and stops the black king. Here black plays pawn f5. Now white player first blocks the king side. Now of course if black pushes this pawn, we will also push the pawn. So black pushes his pawn one step. And now finally, after bringing the king forward and blocking one side, we start making the use of our extra pawn, a4. So we want to go forward to b5. So black plays king c6. Black is trying to control this box. Now white is not in a hurry to push the pawn on the king side. Instead, he plays king to d4. What is he doing? He wants to go towards g7 and attack the black pawns from behind. To stop the white king, black plays king d6, takes the opposition. Now finally, we use our extra material. So pawn b5. He captures. Now white has a clear idea. He wants to just push this pawn. So black king goes to c7, attacking the square b6 and blocking the pawn. White says, let this pawn stay here. I will go to other side. And you see what has happened. The black king is busy in stopping this pawn, and because of that, white king gets the entry on another side. So remember this important point. Use the outside passed pawn to attract the enemy king and get the entry for your king on other side of the board, so that your king can attack the enemy pawns. He plays king b6, king f6, captured, king g7. He tries to come towards our pawns, capture, king e4, and now white plays h4, king f3, h5. He captures our pawn. Now if we allow this fellow to go, then his pawn may get a chance to go forward. So he first plays king takes f5, which is his support move, plus you have captured the pawn as well. King h4, pawn h6. And here black realizes that I cannot stop the white pawn. So black resigns the game. Now let's have this example of outside passed pawn. In this example, if we observe carefully, white has got a rook and bishop against black has got two rooks. If you read the situation, you can find that white player has got 6 pawns and the black player has got 5 pawns. So we can say that the black player is little ahead in material. But how can he use that? Because our rooks has no entry. So here he gives up the rook for the bishop. Rook takes bishop, pawn takes rook. Now he has removed the support of the e5 pawn, and so now he forces the exchange of the rooks as well. Now the position has become clear. Even though both the players are having 5 pawns each, black has got this pawn which is away from the king side pawns. Black plays king d5. Of course, king should be the leader. King d2, king c4. So finally the black king has got an attacking position. Pawn h5. Now black plays pawn b6. Now see why this move is important. This is a support move. We are supporting the square a5 for the advance of the a file pawn. King c2, pawn g5, h6, f4, g4. the usual strategy. Now the pawns on the king side are fixed, they cannot move. So finally black starts his action. Pawn a5, making 2 attacks over this fellow. He has got only one support, so he is forced to practically exchange capture, capture, king b2, a4. Can you see our outside passed pawn is finally walking forward. King a3, white takes, and now king d4, king e3, capture, king g2. So we have cleared the path of this pawn, as well as black king is now controlling these 3 important squares. Here white realizes that I cannot stop this black pawn from becoming a new queen, and so he resigns the game. So friends, did you like the concept of outside passed pawn? If yes, please like this video, share it with your friends, and stay connected for interesting chess lessons. Thank you. Have a good day.